Big Bear Mountain is the new for 2023 family coaster at Dollywood. This multi-launch coaster is an important addition. For Vekoma, it shows the US market just how much their newer coasters have progressed in the quality department. For Dollywood, this was the park's biggest investment ever, and early reports have been quite positive. Some have proclaimed this ride to be the best family coaster out there. Is it that good? Find out in this review of Big Bear Mountain. Wildwood Grove opened in 2019 at a cost of $37 million. This 5-acre land was targeted more towards kids and families. Built atop a hill overlooking Timber Canyon, this was a colorful land featuring a series of flat rides, an indoor play area, and most notably, the Dragonflyer roller coaster. The latter was a Vekoma family suspended coaster. Guests absolutely love this coaster's smooth and graceful ride. While this area was a really nice addition, there were two criticisms. One, Wildwood Grove had barely any shade. That's cruel irony for a land with grove in the name. The park has planted trees, but they'll take time to grow in. Second, it was clear the land was not finished. There was a huge plot behind Dragonflyer that looked ripe for a new addition, and that finally came in 2023 with Big Bear Mountain. Leading up to the ride's announcement, coaster enthusiasts dreamed of a major thrill coaster, specifically a Mach Extreme Spinner given the success of Time Traveler at another Herschend property in Silver Dollar City. While I absolutely would have loved to see one added in the future, I don't think it would have been the best fit at the park at this time. First, Wildwood Grove is a family area, so adding a major thrill coaster there wouldn't fit in with the land's overall vision. Second, Dollywood really needed another family coaster. If you look at the park's wait times, two of the longest lines in the park are typically for the aforementioned Dragonflyer, and also for Fire Chaser Express. These are two great family coasters. For one, they have super low height limits at just 39 inches, meaning kids as young as 3 or 4 should be able to ride. But they also are enjoyable for older guests. They offer super smooth rides with some thrill elements mixed in. Big Bear Mountain was built very much in that mold, and it gives the park some extra capacity in the family department. It has an identically low height limit to the park's prior family coasters, and it packs a lot in. This coaster features 3 launches and 3,990 feet or 1,220 meters of track. The latter makes it the park's longest overall coaster, just beating out Lightning Rod. This was also a significant ride for Vekoma. This Dutch manufacturer developed a reputation in the coaster community for building cloned rides that tended to be on the rougher side. Just look at the countless SLCs and boomerangs out there. There were 2 exceptions in the US market though. 1, they could always make a smooth junior coaster. 2, their coasters at the Disney parks were smooth. Maybe it was the extra budget, or maybe it was the magic of the mouse. Over the past decade, Vekoma has had a renaissance of sorts. While their sales were still strong up to that point, their overall ride quality took a major step forwards. They improved their trains, track fabrication, and overall layouts. This has resulted in some of the smoothest coasters out there. Vekoma gave the US market a taste of that with Dragonflyer, and Big Bear Mountain is similarly smooth, while offering a custom, more expansive layout. So hopefully the positive reception of this ride leads to Vekoma getting more work stateside. The coaster carves along the hillside in the back of Wildwood Grove. While the coaster is just 66 feet or 20 meters tall, it looks quite a bit taller because of the terrain use and sheer size of the ride. This thing covers a ton of ground. It also looks the part. The bright orange track really pops, and it adds so much energy to Wildwood Grove seeing the coaster winding about. It also makes for a more memorable entrance into the area because you see the coaster whizzing past this beautiful waterfall. Don't get too used to scenery though. Dollywood had to chop down countless trees to fit this ride in. This has led to the coaster being nicknamed Big Bear Mountain, with bear being spelled B-A-R-E, and I sorta get why. While you have more trees behind the ride, the layout itself takes place on a fairly open hillside at this point. But like much of Wildwood Grove, I think this is something the park will fix in the future. It will just take time for landscaping to grow in. The trains look good too. They are designed to look like trucks, and they have 2 extra features. First, they have working headlights and taillights. While they could be seen during the daylight, I imagine they'll look especially sweet once the sun goes down. Second, the coaster has onboard audio. It has a nice musical score combined with narration. The latter delivers one bear pun after another. Is it corny? Undoubtedly, but it does help the pacing as you hear the guide barking out orders, adding a degree of urgency. It also helps make up for the lack of woodsy visuals throughout a majority of the layout. The physical theming during the pre-boarding experience is pretty good though. The ride has an expedition theme. You pass a series of tents with some camping gear and signage about the mythical Big Bear. And that's good because this coaster has consistently been pulling hour-long waits thus far. While the boost of a new attraction is contributing to that at the moment, I think this ride will have staying power and remain one of the park's most popular rides going forwards. Big Bear Mountain has 2 trains. Each one holds a maximum of 20 riders across 10 rows of 2. This gives it better capacity than the park's other family coasters. And dispatches occur like clockwork. The restraints are simple, and the employees can check them quite quickly. So what is the best way to avoid a long wait at this attraction? I didn't try hitting Big Bear at opening because I have a rule when I visit Dollywood. If you see Lightning Rod open, ride that immediately because you never know when that ride may break down. But I believe you can get on it quick if you arrive early and are at the front of the rope drop crowd. One method I can confirm works well is a hop in line right before closing. The line is kept open right up until the park's official closing time. On a day when the queue line was routinely posted at 60 to 75 minutes in length, we got in roughly 25 minutes right at closing. It is worth noting that Big Bear is currently excluded from Time Saver, the park's paid skip the line system. The coaster has a dedicated Time Saver queue already in place, so it's clear it'll be offered in the future. I suspect the park may wait out the initial summer rush before adding it. When you reach the station, you are assigned a row. Like many coasters at Dollywood, staff members are happy to honor seating requests if you have a preference. I tried this coaster in both the very front and very back. I didn't think the experience varied too much by row, but I would recommend the front for smaller guests if they want that unobstructed view. Once seated, you have just a lap bar. This will comfortably rest in the lap of smaller guests, but if you're on the taller or larger side, it may rest on your thigh instead. Now let's jump into the ride experience. Big Bear Mountain starts with a launch right out of the station. There's no countdown or sound, but the operator will give you a heads up when you're about to blast off. This initial launch is fairly weak, but that's understandable. The later 2 are far more powerful ones that send you into the main layout. I do like how this one has sounds of trucks revving at least. It is worth noting Vekoma decided to use linear induction motors or LIMs for the launch. This is a magnetic launch system that was frequently used by premier rides on the earliest coasters. Most manufacturers have now switched over to linear synchronous motors or LSMs for their magnetic launches. Vekoma wanted to keep the weight of their coaster trains down, which is why they went back to the LIM system. After that first launch, you have a gentle curve to the left that brings you right into launch 2. This is an LIM boost that has a nice kick to it. This is followed by a twisted double up, and I think this is a good time to talk about this ride's airtime, or lack thereof. When this coaster was announced, I expected it would be on par with something like Manta at SeaWorld San Diego. I thought Big Bear would have the height of a family coaster, yet offer a dozen or so airtime pops. But that's not the case. All of the elements are really elongated and gradual. You come about as close as we possibly can to getting airtime, without actually coming out of your seat if that makes sense. That would be an absolute failure for a major thrill coaster, but that's okay for a family coaster like this. Besides, if you want a family coaster with airtime, you have Fire Chaser Express just across the park. Big Bear does maintain good pace throughout the attraction though, which is mighty impressive considering just how much track the ride features. After that double up, you dip down to the ground, getting a smidge of positive Gs. Then comes this reverse wave turn of sorts, which is quite odd to see in a family coaster. It's a neat visual, and if you're in back, you'll actually get a teeny pop of airtime here. You then have a fun S-hill that drops down the hill. Not only that, but it then careens through the one theming element during the main layout, that rocky waterfall. It's a fabulous near miss, and I wish more of that theming had been incorporated into the experience. You'll then zip over a little speed hill. Again, no airtime, but you at least hear the bear roaring at this point. You then twist upwards and pass over the rock cavern you previously went through. Then you have this stretched out double down hugging the ground. While the dips aren't too crazy, The turn that follows has another light dose of positive Gs. This is immediately followed by 2 more bunny hills, further dropping you down the hill. I really do like this coaster's use of terrain. At this point, most family coasters would be wrapping up, but Big Bear is just about halfway done. You hop upwards in the launch 3. This is another decently forceful launch. This, along with launch 2, are easily the highlight of the coaster for me. You then traverse the ride's largest hill, which goes right over the coaster's entry plaza. You then have another double down back down to ground level. Yet again, the turn that follows is actually more interesting. It has some solid laterals and also piles on some positive Gs. You also really feel the coaster's speed here. Next comes another reverse wave turn that again gives a little pop of airtime for those in back. Then you have an S-hill over the brake run. It's stretched out to eliminate forces, but it still surprised me with the quick directional change. You then hit the far turnaround, which also applies some light positives. You then have a series of small humps in a row gracefully undulating the train. Now it's time for the finale. You have a tight upwards helix that offers some Gs. Then you dive beneath the pathway, hearing the bear roar once again, and then you climb into the final brake run after about 80 seconds of prime ride time. That's good for any coaster, especially a family coaster. You then return to the station, ending the experience. Now let's talk about the smoothness and pacing. Big Bear Mountain is immaculately smooth. You will not find a hint of a rattle, nary a bad transition. This ride was brilliantly designed, and it just flows so nicely element to element. As for pacing, this ride moves at a good clip throughout. The 3 launches play a big role in that, but the coaster also uses terrain strategically, particularly in the first half, to maintain the pace. This keeps the ride exciting. Even though it's not as forceful as I may have liked, you just keep on breezing through different maneuvers. So what would I rate Big Bear Mountain? I would give this coaster an 8 out of 10. I'm grading this against other family coasters. This is well above average for the genre. This Vekoma has substantial length, some punchy launches, and nice pacing. I also really like the terrain use and onboard audio. The latter are 2 things I wish more coasters utilize because they really help elevate the experience for me. While the coaster did not have the airtime I expected, I am willing to give this coaster a pass in that department because it does so much else well, and manages to still offer an engaging experience. Now I personally prefer Fire Chaser Express to Big Bear Mountain, but I think more people seem to prefer Big Bear Mountain. Either way, it is truly remarkable to have 2 of the best family coasters out there in a single park. I would have loved to have visited Dollywood as a kid and having these family coasters available for me. So those are my thoughts on Big Bear Mountain, the newest coaster at Dollywood. What are your thoughts on this multi-launch coaster? Do you think it's one of the best family coasters out there? Let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed this review, I would appreciate it if you gave this video a like, and you considered subscribing, because there'll be a lot more roller coaster and amusement park videos here at Canopy Coaster. Thanks for watching.